This is Nicole Dr., a 28-year-old mother living in a quiet neighborhood in Lorain County, Ohio. She was not known for drug use or criminal behavior, and her past was relatively clean. However, on an August morning in 2003, she tragically took the life of her 4-year-old son Jacob and attempted to conceal her crime by setting their house on fire. Nicole was initially sentenced to death, but her sentence was later reduced to life without the possibility of parole. She has spent the past 21 years behind the gates of an Ohio prison. Nicole's story is one of many. Behind the prison walls are dozens of women, once wives, mothers, and partners who now face life sentences. Some committed crimes of desperation, while others acted out of financial greed, jealousy, or the pain of broken relationships. What they all share is the harsh reality of their actions, a crime that shocked many and a sentence that will last the rest of their lives without the possibility of release. In today's video, Crimes Unearthed 911 will explore the stories of 24 women serving life sentences in Ohio, women who made decisions that forever changed their lives and the lives of those around them. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and feel free to leave a comment. Out of all the stories shared, which one leaves the strongest impact? 1. Katrina Marie Cson. In August of 2012, a 29-year-old old woman named Celeste Franzman was found by the roadside in Mingham County, Ohio, severely burned, barely conscious, and almost unable to speak. There was a rouge mark around her neck, and the strong smell of gasoline filled the air. Celeste passed away just days later, but before she died, she revealed 2 names, one of which was someone who had once been very close to her, Katrina Marie Cson. At that time, Katrina was just 20 years old, and she had a complicated relationship with the victim. During the investigation, the police discovered that she, along with 2 accomplices, had planned to kidnap Celeste, hurt her, tie her up, and set her on fire before leaving her by the roadside. In her final moments in court, Katrina admitted to serious charges of murder, kidnapping, and arson. She was sentenced to life without parole, with an additional 11 years for kidnapping. By 2024, Katrina had served 12 years of her sentence and is now 34 years old. All opportunities for her freedom have ended. To Donna J. Munda. In 2005, Dr. Gulam Mundo was shot dead on a quiet stretch of Ohio's turnpike. Initially, it was considered a random robbery. However, as the police dug deeper, they uncovered a series of strange details, especially financial transactions and secret letters from his wife, Donna J. Munda. Donna, who was 46 years old, had been secretly involved with a younger man named Damian Bradford. Together, they conspired to murder Gulam to inherit his millions, including life insurance and inheritance. Damian was the one who pulled the trigger, while Donna acted as the planner, giving directions, providing information, and promising to share the money. After the murder in 2007, Donna was sentenced to life without parole. During the trial, she showed no remorse and attempted to blame her lover as the mastermind. However, with clear evidence from diaries, letters, and Bradford's testimony, the court rejected her claims. By 2024, Donna had served 18 years in prison and is now 64 years old. The plan to trade a life for money ended with decades of imprisonment and no escape. 3. Crystal Candelario. On June 16, 2023, Crystal Candelario returned home to Cleveland after a long trip to Puerto Rico and Detroit. When she opened the door, what awaited her was not the sound of her baby crying, but a chilling silence. Her daughter Jalen, only 16 months old, was found dead in her crib. The cause of death was dehydration and starvation after being left alone for 9 straight days with no one to care for her, no food and no water. The apartment was locked tight and the summer heat was Unbearable, the baby had slowly passed away over the course of several days. Crystal claimed she wanted some time to rest and didn't think the consequences would be this severe, but such excuses cannot erase the tragic consequences of her actions. In March 20124, Crystal was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She has served only 1 year so far, and she is now 32 years old, but her name and the way her daughter died has become one of the most haunting cases in recent Ohio history for Heather Nicole Matthews. In December of 1992, Dayton, Ohio was not filled with music and lights. Like every other Christmas, it was filled with sirens, helicopters, and urgent news. Reports 6 people killed in just a few days by a teen crime gang. That gang called themselves Downtown Posey, and one of the most well-known names was Heather Nicole Matthews, just 20 years old at the time, along with her boyfriend and other members. Heather was involved in a series of murders simply for excitement and the need for money. Many of the victims were acquainted aunts. Some were lured to secluded spots and shot. One was killed while shopping for Christmas gifts. Another woman was murdered right at her doorstep. All of them died in cold blood. No reason, no warning, no chance of survival. Heather was arrested soon after. In 1993, she was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences amounting to at least 53 years before any possibility of parole. By 2024, Heather had served 31 years, now 51. She remains imprisoned with a criminal record that ensures Dayton will never forget that tragic Christmas. Season 5, Brooklyn Frasier. In September of 2023, a high-speed chase unfolded on the roads of Scota County, Ohio. At the center of this pursuit was Brooklyn Frasier, 42 years old, driving an SUV in a 14 meters long chase. Her target, her boyfriend Daryl Scott Dew, who was riding a motorcycle ahead of her. The reason for the chase remains unclear, but what is certain is that Brooklyn chose not to stop regardless of the risks involved. The tragic conclusion came when Brooklyn's SUV collided with Daryl, causing him to be thrown from the motorcycle. He sustained severe injuries and passed away shortly after. Witnesses reported that Brooklyn showed no signs of remorse. Instead, she continued driving, leaving her boyfriend in critical condition at trial. Brooklyn was sentenced to life in prison without parole. What stands out is not just the loss of Daryl's life, but also Brooklyn's lack of remorse. Throughout the investigation, she expressed no regret for her actions. After 7 months of incarceration, Brooklyn is now 43 years old. The years ahead in prison will be a future without freedom, with Daryl's death marking the end of a life filled with poor decisions. 6. Laura Jean Taylor. In December of 1992, Dayton, Ohio was shaken by a series of robberies and murders committed by a gang of teens and young adults, later referred to as the Christmas Killings. One of the individuals involved was Laura Jean Taylor, just 16 years old at the time. In a violent attack, Laura's group killed at least 6 people during Christmas, including shooting and torturing them. The victims were strangers targeted while they were resting or shopping. This violent act was not motivated by money but by a desire for excitement and thrill. Laura, along with her accomplices, shot the victims on the spot, creating a sense of fear in the neighborhood. When arrested, neither Laura nor her friends showed any remorse for their actions. The court sentenced her to 145 years in prison with the possibility of parole. After 30 years, by 2024, Laura had served 32 years in prison. Now 49, she faces a future without the chance to return to the life she once knew. The consequences of her actions are lasting, and the price she must pay is a life behind bars. 7. Lindsay Parton. In May of 2018, a case in Butler County, Ohio left the community in shock. Lindsay Parton, a 35-year-old woman, was entrusted with the care of a 3-year-old child named Hannah Waugh. When Hannah's mother returned home after several days away, she found an unimaginable tragedy. Hannah had passed away from severe head injuries. The incident began when Lindsay, while watching the child, became overwhelmed with anger and lost control in a moment of frustration. Lindsay caused harm to Hannah, resulting in a traumatic brain injury. Afterward, she tried to hide what had happened, but the truth eventually emerged when Hannah's mother returned and found her unconscious. She immediately called for an ambulance. By the time the doctors arrived, Hannah had already passed away. The cause of death was confirmed as severe injury sustained over a period of time. Lindsay was arrested and charged with first-degree murder at trial. Lindsay showed no remorse for her actions. She claimed that she had no intention of causing harm, that it was just a moment of lost control. However, the court did not accept this explanation and sentenced her to life in prison. This sentence not only held her accountable for her actions but also highlighted the dangers of losing control in moments of anger. Lind will not be eligible for parole until after serving 18 years. As of 2024, she has served 6 years and is now 42 years old. Every day in prison serves as a reminder of the consequences of a moment of lost control, and for Hannah, an innocent child, it was a loss that left a lasting impact. 8. Nicole. CSS Crime Story Series.